Welcome to the Late Night Race Review. Danny Rick delves deep into Japanese culture and shows Albon what a kamikaze is. How many vowels and ouch, as Williams may be dipping into their overdraft to get 2 cars to China. And Sainz versus Ferrari. Advantage Sainz again. It's the Japanese GP. As always, we wrap things up with a look at our predictions game. And don't forget to support the podcast by hitting those like, follow and subscribe buttons. Welcome back to the Late Night Race Review. I'm Owen Scott, and with me as always is Dave Jericho and the English eggplant, Isidro Consalves. He's English now. Dave, you dubbed it earlier, or yesterday even, the Yuki GP, and I planned to go off on Japan celebrating a measly point. But then I remind myself that Ireland has no drivers and no GP to celebrate either. So, you know, people in glass houses and all that jazz.
But when I sent you that message about it being the Yuki GP, it was kind of, I think I was about maybe 20 laps in, and all the coverage was Yuki Tsunoda. Like, it was in car with Yuki, it was above shots with Yuki, like, you know, it was fucking B-roll with Yuki. It was fucking terrible.
In fairness to Yuki, I usually go off on Yuki quite a lot, but he was decent. Very, very good, I thought.
Now, look, what sort of porn you watch in your own time to get off on is your own business.
Right. Anyway, Dave, let's kick it off. The main event, I think, from the start of the race, obviously, was the Ricciardo Albon incident. Dave, who was at fault? Who was it?
Oh, it's Daniel Ricciardo, clearly. Like, I mean, I know it's a racing incident. It's the opening lap. I mean, you're just going to call it a racing incident to be harsh to penalize anybody for it, but. They're trying, like, I don't know what it is with commentators this season and last season. They try and justify something, and you're kind of going, do you not realize we can see the same thing that you see? Like, you know, and they're trying to tell us something else has happened. And they were trying to say, was it Gasly or someone that was along the left-hand side? I can't remember. They were trying to say, who was it?
It was Stroll.
Stroll, they were trying to say that was on the left-hand side of him. And you're kind of watching it, and you're like, no, he wasn't. Like, not enough to warrant what, basically squeezing Albon out. Like, so, he was at fault. Clearly, he was just trying to get his elbows out, stop Albon going past. But look, because it was turn 2, you're going to call it a racing incident, and nothing's going to get done about it.
Yeah. And Albon, fortunately, okay. Everyone was concerned. Oh, is Albon okay? I mean, he just
fuck Ricciardo.
It wasn't that fast either, and he just hopped out, and everyone's like, is he okay? But yeah, anyway. Concerns for Williams though, Isidro. The second crash in as many races, and their team. The memes were popping around yesterday. Their team are going to be worked to the bone, aren't they?
Yeah, I can imagine the expression of the mechanics as soon as they saw the crash. They're like, "Oh, there's go overtime again." And I could imagine Logan thinking, "I can't go to the box now. Otherwise, Albon will be there waiting for me just to eat me out of the seat."
Yoink.
Yeah, Sargent's never pitting again, just in case they reef him out of the car.
Yeah.
And as Albon's driving off down the pit lane, he's shouting, "Possession's 9/10 of the law."
Poor old Sargent, although he didn't cover himself in glory. No. Well, it was the fault of Williams' pit crew as well, wasn't it? Really, they must absolutely. You can tell actually when they came in, when Sargent came in, that they were just wrecked, sauntering on out with the wheels and then slowly putting them on. Poor old Logan Sargent, but yeah,
what's the point?
Yeah.
Why put wheels on this guy's car?
It's ridiculous, and yeah, again, so losing concentration, little bit of a. It wasn't a spin off, I suppose. He just pretty much drove off the track, didn't he, Dave?
Logan Sargent.
Yeah,
why not? just there's a wall. I'm going for it.
Albon is not taking my car again.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to make sure this car is not usable for him next weekend.
So James Vowles then saying the updates that were on the car unfortunately are broken. So we've got to build those stocks back up again to get going again. So they've got a real issue now where they have to like restock stuff back up. Will they be ready for China? Who knows? They might have half a car now going over to China.
Well, you never know. They might be outsourcing their parts development to China now. Just pick it up as they go.
Yeah. Anyway, another sorry affair for Williams. Unfortunately, I don't know if that team's actually going to make it at the end of the season. Yes, Cedric, go on.
I think at this stage, Williams should invest and maybe get the 10 or 20 3D printers and just starting building their own
3D
pieces.
printers.
Yeah, it's probably worth it at this stage. Right, let's get back to business as usual.
God, if you ask me how Max Verstappen's race was, I'm gonna fucking vomit on my desk.
I don't think I really have to do it, to be honest. He just sauntered around and won again. Perez, though, let's talk about Perez. That was a better week for Perez. It's starting to become a little bit more promising, maybe, for the Mexican.
He really has to. Well, yeah, he stepped up, and I wonder if you were Red Bull, wouldn't you be like, oh yeah, convenient now that CarlosSainz is going to be a driver available, and now you're all of a sudden putting in a shift.
Yeah,
get the fuck get down there with Logan Sargent.
Well, I mean, here is the thing, though. Again, Checo at the end of last season, he got them the constructors' points as well. Did he come second in the drivers' championship
last season?
Yeah. So I mean, how do you kick this lad out if he's starting to perform again? He's got you second in the drivers' championship. The lads have sewn up the constructors. What's the reason for now kicking him out?
Because he's inconsistent. Like, you just don't know what you're going to get. Like, and you need to be able to hang your hat on something like when you've got like Max Verstappen, short of a brake failure like he had last time out, he's going to win you a race. Or even if he ends up with a shit qualifying and starts P10, like, probably by lap 3, he's going to be in the lead of the race, like in that Red Bull. Whereas if Perez started P10, by lap 3 could be P12, like, so it's the inconsistencies of it that would, if I was Red Bull, I'd be considering a driver switch.
Now, would you have considered, before I move on to you, Isidro, Dave, would you have considered Checo Perez inconsistent last season?
Yeah.
Yet he still got second in the drivers' championship, and Red Bull had.
But do we really want to dive into how shit everybody else was?
Yeah. I suppose there is that. If you are Isidro, if you are a betting man, who do you see in that second Red Bull seat?
I would grab Sainz straight away.
Yeah, I think he's got to be. He's probably the better driver, isn't he?
Or I mean, the interview with Sebastian Vettel. No. Stick him back in the Red Bull.
His name seems to be popping up a little bit recently, doesn't it?
He was saying that he in the interview. Look, I don't know who, if anybody, would take him. I think Vettel's, unfortunately, he's kind of he's out of the sport a little bit too long. At the age he is, I don't think he's going to. I'd say even if you stuck him in a Red Bull, I don't think he's going to be that great. Like, I hope I'm wrong, because I like Sebastian Vettel, but I don't know who's going to take him. Like, I'd say he's not the first option for anybody, really, if I'm honest.
Isn't it funny how Sebastian Vettel took time away from the sport to spend time with his kids, and he's a year away, and he's like, fuck it, I want to come back, actually. My kids are driving me nuts.
It's not only a year away. Is it not 2 years?
Oh, is he 2 years gone? Oh, it is 2 years. You're right. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Apologies. 2 years it took him to be sick of his kids and then come back to racing again. Anyway, let's move on to Ferrari before we get stuck in a Vettel loop. Ferrari today, yesterday, sorry. Good race overall. Leclerc coming back from, was it P8 or B10 to finish in P4, and then CarlosSainz. Yet again, Isidro, CarlosSainz putting in a shift.
Yeah, he's definitely showing up to Ferrari that they bet on the wrong driver. But again, he did a solid race. Leclerc, he also did a very good race despite the issues with the tires. But overall, I think Ferrari is definitely an improvement from last year. Yeah,
things are looking up, Dave, aren't they?
Yeah, but it was a bit disappointing. Weren't Ferrari hyping up weren't they bringing updates, I thought, to this race? And I was expecting them to be a little bit more, I don't know, I just expected them to be on the back of the Red Bulls a little bit easier. I don't know. It was good. The strategy for Leclerc, and well, I call it the strategy. Everybody, I can see a lot of memes going around about Ferrari finally, that their first great strategy in 84 years, kind of memes and stuff like that going around. But was it really, or was it just Charles Leclerc managed to get as much life out of that tire as possible. Like, I know technically it was a strategy, but I mean, if Leclerc, if that tire just went off, I don't think they had a plan B. Like, it was just, they got lucky that Charles Leclerc managed to get as long as he did out of those medium tires, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in fairness to him, though, he was in the. Did he get? No, we're not getting into driver of the day. Sorry, I'm not going to jump into that before we need to get into it. But yeah, I would argue that it was probably his best drive this season so far. No,
Charles Leclerc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say so. Most composed drive as well. To be able to, like I said, not burn out those tires would have been very easy to wreck those tires early on, and he didn't. And it would have been very easy to do a knee-jerk reaction and panic and come in and make a change, which he didn't. Well, we didn't hear him call for, and thankfully Ferrari didn't do it either. So yeah, from driver and Ferrari, like, look, I'm not jumping up and down going, "Oh yeah, you're amazing," because like this is the first right thing they've done in a while. So I mean, even their driver. The drivers they got rid of, I don't even think was maybe the right decision. So yeah, we'll wait and see. But look, it was a good weekend. Yeah, good result.
Yeah, good solid weekend. Fred Vasseur happy as well. Everyone happy at Ferrari over the weekend in the pre-race interviews. But someone,
do you think they're dreading now? Sorry, just I know we're not talking about Mercedes, but I know, but Hamilton's going to Mercedes next year. Like, I mean, he really looks like I know we kind of jokingly said it looks like he's checked out, but it looks like he's proper checked out. Like, I mean, he wasn't aggressively defending any positions. He offered just to let George Russell by, which is unusual for Lewis Hamilton. I know Russell was faster at the time, but still not like him to do that. And like I said, even with different tire strategies and stuff like that, when he was under pressure, he didn't defend corners, and I was like, Jesus Christ! If I was at Ferrari, I'm like, oh.
Let's stay with Hamilton there. While you're there, we might as well use it as a way to get into Mercedes. But he was saying that he couldn't turn. He explained us that he got some damage in the first stint and at the restart with Charles, and had a massive understeer. Or he said like a huge understeer. So that's why he decided to let George by, because he seemed to be quicker, and he felt he couldn't turn his car, is what he says.
So okay, if that explains letting George Russell by not scuppering his race, fine, no problem at all. However, he was overtaken by other drivers where he didn't defend the corners, and you're like, you still managed to turn the corner. You could have defended it as well, like, and I just thought he got taken quite easily yesterday. I really did. I kind of, I don't know. I'm hoping this is just because he's getting to the tail end of Mercedes. He's just kind of like, look, let me just get through this year. I'll be revitalized now when I hit fucking Ferrari. Or do you just carry that dreary momentum to Ferrari and it's just like, hi guys? Oh no.
No, I think that the hype will inevitably build up near the end of the season, or even at the start of next season, seeing him in the red. Yeah, go on, Sergio.
It's funny how the Hamilton drive so far is the opposite of Sainz drive at the moment.
Yeah,
one is showing up, and the other one just, I don't care about anything else.
Well, I mean, we know why this is. One is looking for a job. One already has one in the bag. The motivation has gone out the window.
Yeah, exactly.
Why does he give a shite? Do you think Toto Wolff is regretting his decision to actually turn up to Japan?
I don't know why he's turning up at all this season. Like, I mean, nothing's changed. Like, nothing. Is it 3 years? It's just the same shit. Like, it's no. Was it 3 years ago would have been the Verstappen and Hamilton fight. So the last 2 years, it's just been this, isn't it? Like, it's just the same shit year after year. I don't know what's going on. I think they need a huge change in their whoever's designed the concept of their cars and stuff like that, because it's just clearly not working. Like, they're in big trouble. Like, or maybe they've checked out like Hamilton. They're just thinking, look, let's just tip along. Let's just use minimal budget for 2024, 2025, get to 2026, and let's reset at the new regulations. Like,
yeah,
because I don't think there's anything they're going to do this year, and I suspect that they're going to put much effort into the final year of this regulation to try and win, to try and catch up on everybody on the very last year of the regulations. Why would you do that? So I'd say they're just let's make the best of the worst situation that we've created for ourselves, and then get to 2026.
Let's play pretend for a second, Isidro, me and you, buddy. You are Toto Wolff. And let's just imagine for a second that you're the ruthless boss of a Mercedes team. You're looking over at Lewis Hamilton. Obviously, he's a big cash cow for Mercedes, but he's clearly not performing and he's clearly not arsed. Would you instead reef him out of that car and just put him on media duty for the rest of the year and then bring in someone, is it Antonelli who's meant to be coming in? Or is it junior driver for Mercedes? So you can actually get some competition going for Russell, or what do you do? Do you just stick with it and let this miserable season just play out?
I would stick with Hamilton. I think the backlash of getting Hamilton out of the seat would be just too much for Toto to handle. It's better to get Mo and Lewis. Basically, yeah, better to keep Mo and Lewis the rest of this season than have the backlash of removing 7-time world champion off the seat.
Yeah. Interesting times for Mercedes anyway. I'm sure we'll continue to slate them week in, week out now for the next little while. Let's talk about McLaren, a Mercedes engine customer. They felt, or Norris certainly felt, that he was a good bit off the pace of the Ferraris. He said that they were on another level, Dave. Do you see any sort of upgrades bringing them closer to Ferrari in the coming races?
Well, I mean, now we're at the point in the season where they said we were going to be seeing the best from that car. So that's not good. I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I was the same. I was expecting them to be kind of growing race by race. We were going to see them more kind of challenging for the podium. And yeah, not to be. So, I mean, I think more worrying is the fact that, Lando finished behind the Ferraris. Fine, that's okay. We suspected Ferrari were bringing upgrades and going to improve and stuff like that. But Piastri finished, where was he? Eighth or seventh? Eighth?
Yeah.
That's not good. And behind an Aston Martin as well, who have been largely pretty shit this for the start of the season. So I don't know. It could be. The race was a bit strange as well. This race was very much just based off sort of tire strategy, which was really irritating because trying to hear the commentators try and make it sound exciting when cars were out of position. You're like, this is just because someone's come in for a pit stop. The person that's in front is going to have to come in for a pit stop as well. This isn't a on-track overtake that's about to happen here. So it could just very well be the track didn't suit them. And maybe China. China's an interesting one. Yeah, maybe China might suit them.
See, Lando starting third, Oscar starting sixth, and Lando finishing fifth, Oscar finishing eighth. Doesn't look great. It doesn't look like progress. But at the same time, just a bit of an understated kind of race from. There was a little bit of hope at the start, but it tailed off, didn't it? Really. Let's talk about another bright hope of Formula One, the future maybe of Formula One. Let's say Fernando Alonso. Did you enjoy his candor this weekend, Isidro? He was very much talking about, I don't know where my future lies. We'll see who's attractive come next year. But he put in a hell of a race there and dragging Piastri along at the end there. Very clever boy.
Alonso pulled the best out of Aston Martin as he could, as he always does. It was a solid race from him. I mean, there was not much he could do, really. I mean, McLaren ahead of him was... I don't think Alonso could ever get the P5, and the Mercedes definitely not catching up with Alonso. So overall, I think he did very well, considering what Aston Martin is at the moment. But it seemed that he has hope, let's say, on the Aston Martin to get the podium this year. Apparently, he believes so.
Yeah. It's lovely to see, Dave. It's lovely to see Alonso with his little tactics throughout the race. He just keeps on getting better and better, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, what was that? Wasn't it CarlosSainz that was the pioneer of that tactic?
Yeah.
But yeah, I like seeing that. I like seeing a driver kind of thinking sort of outside the box and using all the tools to their advantage. One thing I didn't see them using enough was the DRS detection point going down, going into the chicane, like, which was a bit strange. Like, once, twice I saw, I can't remember who I saw using it, but yeah, I love seeing other elements being used in the racing and be it like that, trying to keep someone within DRS to hold off the driver behind that is going to be more of a danger to you should they pass him by. Yeah, I love it. And to be honest, that's probably the highlights. That type of stuff is sort of the highlights of the race, because everything else was sort of tire strategy and drivers being out of position, racing each other when they shouldn't even be racing each other because, you know, of the tire strategy. So yeah.
And Lance Stroll coming on the radio in his teenager cracked voice saying, what was the phrase he used? I can't believe. Yeah,
different category.
Different category, man.
Category.
So funny. Yeah, not a happy bunny, Mr. Stroll. I saw, is it Eddie Jordan during the week tipping that possibly tipping that that second seat could be up for grabs, that Lance Stroll might be on the way out. But I don't see that happening really, Dave, do you?
Eddie Jordan said that.
Yeah,
well.
Okay, then.
I mean, Eddie Jordan's he's a bit of a
he's out there, isn't he? I mean, I don't see Lawrence Stroll taking his son out of that car. That's his car. He bought it for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Go on, Sergio.
I'm surprised that Lance Stroll didn't finish the radio talk saying, "Do you know who my father is?"
Yeah. Hilarious.
And then finishing it like with like a WWE speak. I'm coming for you, Eddie Jordan. I'm coming for you, man.
Nothing really else to talk about, really. Tsunoda, I think we should probably touch on Tsunoda. Few lovely little overtakes by Tsunoda, Isidro.
Yeah, Tsunoda, I think the fact that he was in his own race, it helped him focus, and doing the great race that he did, I have to say he's definitely improving. He did points last week, points again today. He's definitely there.
Yeah, and he qualified P10. I didn't realize this. He qualified P10 and ended P10, but it seemed that he was like overtaking loads of people. What happened to him? Was it the pit stops that he fell back and he had to pull his way back again, or what happened, Dave?
Wasn't it the accident at the start or something and then he came back out? He was like in P17 or something like that, and then he made his way back up the pack a bit,
right.
And then through the course of the shit show of fucking tire strategies and pit stops and stuff like that, you know, everyone was out of position. So it was sort of, he finished where he should have finished anyway, but just through the cycle of pit stops, it put people out of position and it just gave a false sense of where everybody actually was on the track. So it just, it all kind of balanced out then towards the end. But still, yeah, he's been doing great. Like, I actually thought Daniel Ricciardo was going to outperform him this season comfortably, but yeah, the guy who doesn't like to train or couldn't give a shit about training seems to be doing quite well in that car.
Doesn't he? Go on, Sergio.
I was about to say that Tsunoda also got lucky in that pit lane chaos, that he managed to get out first of every other car. That helped him. Otherwise, he'll be stuck behind Lance and the Haas and Stake. So
that was actually something, wasn't it? That pit stop was actually brilliant. They got him in and out very, very quickly there. And surprising that he get on the radio and was like, "Thank you, guys. Thank you." I was like, what? Why didn't he curse at them? That's not Yuki. What's going on?
Now, can I say something? Oh, no, we're not. I know we're not. No, I'll wait till driver of the day. Before I fucking bring the whole show down even further.
So I think, look, the only thing I think left to mention is Alpine are still shit. That's probably the most important thing.
They're really shit, aren't they?
Oh, they're crap. Absolutely crap. Daniel Ricciardo is still crap. Williams are in a terrible spot.
Actually, why
And-
are Williams as bad as they are, considering they got bought out? They were supposed to have investors that could actually maybe afford to have a car on the track.
Mm.
I mean, Jesus, if you can only afford the running gear that you've got in a sport has a high probability of accidents,
Mm.
you shouldn't be in the sport. And I'd hate to see Williams go. I'd rather see someone else buy it that would have the money to invest in it.
Yeah.
But if they don't, like, you've no business being there if you can't afford to field the car after it's had an accident. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, big stuff to do there for Mr. Vowles. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We've covered everything. David, is it time?
Okay, so yeah, all right. So driver of the day. This is just before we get on to the actual driver of the day. I know Yuki Tsunoda got like high votes in he came second. I know he didn't get the driver of the day. I think Leclerc got the official driver of the day, didn't he?
Yeah.
And Yuki Tsunoda got second.
Yes.
But I'd say, what were the percentages, Isidro?
23.8 for Leclerc and Tsunoda 17.7.
17.7. Now, this is where I'm going to have a little rant. This is what the fucking state of Formula One fans is at the moment. You're telling me that Yuki Tsunoda, who qualified 10th, finished 10th. Granted, he got a fucking points finish in his home Grand Prix. Brilliant. Well done. No disrespect there whatsoever. But you're telling him that there's a 5% difference between Charles Leclerc getting that car as far as he did on those medium tires and finishing on the podium. Or not on the podium, so just outside the podium. Like, I mean, I don't get it. Like, it's that bullshit kind of, but it's his home Grand Prix, so I'm going to vote for him.
Yeah, no.
Like, it's absolute horseshit. Like, I mean, had we gone to, like, I'll be honest, I don't think Logan Sargent would get that love. Like, I'd say if we went to like Circuit of the Americas or something like that, and Logan Sargent got 10th place, and 4 cars are out, shitty tire strategies, Logan Sargent manages to get 10th place. Do you think he's going to get 17 point whatever % of the votes for driver of the day?
Yeah,
No.
not a hope. Not a hope. Yeah, no, you're right, and he shouldn't have got near driver of the day. Who was yours, Dave? Did you say who your driver of the day was?
No, I didn't. And Joe, I'm just going to put my hands up and say I have made a bit of a I didn't realize this was my part where I actually carry on doing the talking, and I've just opened a banana to start eating it.
Right. Okay. So I'll give you my driver of the day while Dave devours that phallic looking instrument. I obviously am going to go for Charles Leclerc. Hell of a race. Great. Probably call it a recovery drive, maybe, but yeah, Charles. Isidro.
Yeah, I go with you. Leclerc did a fine race, managing those tires and coming from P8 and finished P4.
Lovely
yeah,
job.
I don't think that's. Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think Charles Leclerc is 100% the driver of the day, without question.
Yeah, definitely. Are you continuing to eat your banana? Will I carry on, or
I'll pause the banana. Do you know what I was gonna for the loser of the day? Right, I was dying for it to happen because K-Mag was in top 10 for a while, and I was like, yes, I know my loser of the day is going to be Owen Scott because I know what you did, and we're going to call out what you did later on. And you could have easily have been loser of the day had he have been P10.
Could have been.
I'm going to go Alex Albon, loser of the day. I think he got shafted. Like, I'm not going to say he probably would have done much better than, like, he might have been probably just outside the top 10 or something like that. But still, his race got scuppered through no fault of his own. I don't think anybody else really lost out more than you would have expected them to anyway. Like, you know.
Yeah. Same as I'd like to maybe direct it towards more Williams. Or the Williams pit crew and mechanics are losers of the day or losers of the fortnight with the amount of work that they're going to have to do to put that thing back together. So I would say Williams in general. Yeah, go on. No, eat away, Dave. Go on. Isidro, who's your loser of the day?
I feel very uncomfortable eating it in front of you.
I know, it's good. It's turning me on a little bit. Right, go on, Isidro.
The same. The Williams mechanics, they're definitely losers of the whole weekend. The amount of overtime they had to do to fix Logan's car, and then Albon just, well, I have more work for you now.
Sorry, Dave. Dave's after swallowing that Yeah. So we're agreed then Williams are the losers of the day. Fantastic. Dave, are we getting on to the predictions game? Or are you going to get out a meal next? It'll be dinner time.
Look, there's been a big banana. Hang on, just finishing up. Where are we at? I don't know where we're at in the podcast anymore.
Predictions. Masterful eating of that banana, by the way. Very good.
All right. Okay. Right. Japanese predictions. Right. Top 3. Right. Yeah. Mine was a shit show, wasn't it?
Yep.
Why do I bother going for big air? Fuck's sake. All right. I went with Sainz P1. Didn't happen. Verstappen P2. Didn't happen. And Norris P3. Well, could have happened, but didn't happen.
Came very close. Why did you pick Verstappen second? What was the thought process there? You thought that Ferrari were going to outrun Red Bull?
Yeah. I'll be honest. I thought Red Bull were not bringing their upgrades this weekend, and I knew Ferrari were, and I knew Ferrari were going to have a good race car this weekend.
Yeah.
So I thought they might have actually outdone them. And even when the tires issue came up and stuff like that, I know Red Bull were having some issues. So yeah, I thought it was going to be. I didn't think it was going to be a sure thing. It was definitely big air, but I did think that there was a good chance that Sainz was going to win the race, but he didn't.
Okay, my top 3, clearly he didn't. My top 3 were Max, Sainz, and Leclerc. So I get a point there. I got my Ferraris the wrong way around.
I was the same. Max first, Sainz second, and Leclerc third.
Yeah, you two just copying homework all fucking day.
I go first, so he copies me. Right, Dave, flippity flop.
I went with Perez, DNF. Fuck me, 0.
Well. So I went for who did I go for? Oh, K-Mag outside of the top 10, and that did happen, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Beautiful.
It did. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Here.
Lovely little point there. Give me that point there, will you?
Oh yeah, I put you on 0, 1 point. There you go.
Yeah, thank you.
I read this
Norris
wrong.
DNF.
Yeah. Oh, thank God that didn't happen, because I checked. I was watching the race. I was like, I can't remember what the predictions, what I put down as my predictions, and I opened it up and I caught a glance of Isidro's, and I saw it the opposite way around and on that DNF, and I was like, so I thought he got an absolute shoe in there, but anyway,
not a hope.
That's right. Well, my big air failed once again. I went with Bottas top 10. There was a part during that race that I thought it might actually happen.
Was it before it just started? Was it?
No, first lap. And that didn't happen either. So
look at my one. So I went with a Sauber plus 50-second pit stop.
Do you know when Joe came in though with the gearbox issue, and do you remember he pulled in before they retired the car, so the pit stop before they retired the car, and he was sitting there for ages, and I was like, looking at me watching, like, do not tell me he's about to get a 50-second pit stop.
Everyone had the stopwatch on. Oh,
yeah,
49.
Yeah.
But yeah, nearly, but no cigar. Nice shot.
All right. And Isidro.
I got the old album top 10.
Yeah.
That's Ricardo. Didn't like it.
Now, I'm gonna raise something very alarming here from myself. I've just noticed I've only got 2 points so far this season.
Yeah, it's not looking good, Dave.
I've got to stop going the big air. Like, it's not paying off.
Yeah.
I was going for the big, fucking Nike Michael Jordan fucking contract, big air, get a percentage of that fucking the royalties. It was going to pay out in the long run. Yeah, but it's not.
No. You gotta think sensible in this game, Dave.
All right, okay. Let me
All right, let's do it. We're going for, is it China predictions?
China predictions.
Yep.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm just typing it all in here. All right, China. All right, I'm gonna go with fuck me. Right, you know what? I'm just gonna keep it easy. I'm gonna go Max. I'm gonna go Perez, and I'm gonna go Sainz. Yeah.
And
I'm
I can
going
tell,
safe.
I can tell by Isidro's face that he's going to do the same as well. I'm going Max Perez Sainz too.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Well,
You got
Max, Perez, and Norris.
Ooh.
Norris.
All right.
Well, you know what? I don't want to be the same as fucking.
Oh yeah.
All right. I know what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go Max Sainz. Perez.
Hamilton.
Oh, Hamilton.
Yeah. Flop. I am gonna go with. Fuck you, Owen Scott. I am gonna go with Yuki outside the top 10.
Well, I mean, you know, I'm also going to go with Yuki outside the top 10, which makes your point, if you get it, null and void.
No, it just means you copied me.
We're playing a game here. It's chess, lads.
Isidro.
Hamilton, DNF.
Hamilton.
Ooh, yeah, nice. That's a good one, actually.
Wow.
I like that.
Wow. All right. My surprise will be.
I
I
mean,
go
there's.
with Sauber getting both cars to the end of the race.
Oh, they
no,
could.
do you know what? I'm good. Oh.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? Fuck it. I am going to be ballsy on it. Joe, top 10 finish.
Oh,
No.
that is ballsy.
I would. Then do I get 2 points if it happens?
Okay, I'm going to go safe, and I'm going to go Albon top 10.
Is that safe?
I don't know, actually. It
You need
seems
to-
it seems
late,
like it
too
might
late,
be, but
Ricardo.
it's probably not.
right,
Let me see if you set my surprise. Tsunoda to score points in the sprint race.
Mm,
Are we not just working on? We're working on the full race, aren't we? Like do we bring in the?
well, no,
sprints?
the surprise could be anything, really, couldn't it, over the weekend?
Can be.
Interesting.
Well, then in which case that could drastically change my flop and surprise. Like
So that means he has to be, though. Tsunoda has to be in the top 8, is it?
Yeah.
In the sprint race. I mean, that's
so Noda inside the top 8. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's fairly
So-
unlikely. In the sprint now.
Yuki top 8 finish. Okay.
In sprint.
race.
In the sprint.
In the
Make
sprint. Oh yeah, let me put that down there. Yeah. Okay. Sprint.
Although it's you know, if it was in the main race, that'd be unlikely as well, in fairness.
Yeah. Can I change mine then for Joe top 10 sprint race? No, that's not going to happen actually. There's more chance
no.
of that happen actually in the
Yeah.
full race. I'm
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
stick to that.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
hope.
All right, guys. Let's keep this one short and snappy. Let's wrap it up. That is the Japanese Grand Prix. We are back in 2 weeks' time for China for the first time in when was the last Chinese race before the pandemic, wasn't it? So 2019 was the last Chinese Grand Prix.
Yep.
Am I right? So wow. So we're nearly 5 years on. So I'm sure it looks the exact same. So we look forward to it. So we will see you next time.